Hello DIY community. Today we are working on our furnace.
DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself. Today on DIY with Chris.
The furnace has been cutting in and out intermittently. I can reset the breakers. It is heating up, so I think both the sequencers and the fan motor, the blower motor, are going out. I can reset the breakers and that'll help it for a little while. One of the heating elements also is not getting a current to it, so it's not working. So, and then the blower motor is actually cutting off. So the sequencers, I believe, are the main problem, but the problem with that also is that the blower is cutting off and the heat is still going at some points. So it's causing some damage to this blower. It's overheating the blower and then it's actually shutting off. So when I have to, in order to get it in order to get it running again, I have to reset the breakers, let it cool down, and then I can turn them back on and it'll start doing it. It'll work for a little while, but then it'll shut down again. So we're replacing the sequencers. So you can see them here. This is actually a new sequencer stack. This is just a 3-stack. So 2 here and then the 1 series here. And we just got this on Amazon. You do have to make sure that you're getting the same specs, the same type. That way it's actually compatible with your furnace. But here's the old one that you can see back here. All we're doing is we're moving everything. I'm moving one wire at a time over, so wherever it comes off of this old sequencer, I'm putting it onto this new one. Not too hard. I would not recommend doing this if you are not familiarized with electrical components at all. We received a quote from one of the HVAC companies for $1,100 to replace this blower motor and the sequencer. The sequencer is only like 20-30 bucks tops on Amazon. You can buy it other places too. The cheapest ones are something like $17. So sequencers are not expensive at all, and they're not hard to hook up in the least bit at all. So there's no reason for that to be charged that much. And for this blower motor, you can get them, some of the most expensive ones that I've been finding are around $200 on the high end. You can get them as cheap as like $60, $70. Again, you just have to make sure you know the specs on your current one to make sure that you're matching it, because that is very important when you're dealing with electricity. Safety is always super important, but this one has a much higher risk of fire and death, you know, if you don't do it right. So if you're not very comfortable with doing electricity, I would not do this. But it's not too hard to replace the blower motor at all, and it's really not hard to replace the sequencers. So both of those parts maybe cost 300 bucks total, and so where they're charging $800 in labor, I really don't understand it. It doesn't take that long to do it. It's just blowing my mind that they're giving me a quote for $1,100 to repair these 2 items that are on it. So I just want to give that tip to you. These furnaces, this is a Wesco 960K furnace, and these things are, Wesco actually went out of business, but these last forever. The components die, but there's not very many components that you have to replace on these. So these are really good furnaces, maybe not the most efficient, but they are good furnaces and they do last a long time, and you just have to replace components every so often. So that's what we're doing on this one. We're actually looking into a ductless system as well, because that is a much more efficient system. But for right now, we are just trying to make sure that this is actually still up and running before we do that. So just a little tidbit for you. Again, we were quoted $1,100, and that was kind of the basis of our problem. The fan was cutting on and off. It was overheating. Some of the elements aren't working. So all of that together, it's a combination of the sequencers. So if you have the same symptoms, it's a combination of the sequencers and my actual fan blower motor going out. So usually you can just replace those 2, not hard at all, and you can save yourself a ton of money. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I also need to know, I have received some comments in the past saying that I'm going through the steps too fast, and I receive other comments saying that I'm going too slow. So I just needed a good consensus from you guys. Do you like the longer videos where I actually go into depth on the specific problems, you know, my past problems with it, why I'm fixing it, and exactly the steps that I'm going through and the problems that I'm running into on the steps? Or do you just want the cut and dry, like under 10-minute video for all the projects that I'm doing? Please let me know. Also, subscribe to me if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. And if anybody has asked questions and I haven't got to it, please help me answer those. This is just a DIY community. We're all trying to help each other out. So greatly appreciate you watching this video, and have a great day, DIYers.
DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself. Today on DIY with Chris.